One of the things that makes me so proud to be a supporter of Rugby League is its community spirit. All of us who love the sport know that it has something special, a community of passionate supporters, players and administrators who not only love the game, but also support each other. Nowhere is this spirit better demonstrated than in the work of Rugby League Cares. So what does Rugby League Cares do? Rugby League Cares is an independent charity working at the heart of the sport to make a difference to everyone involved in the game. The charity is for the people from the towns and cities in which rugby league is played, watched and loved. The charity uses the power of sport to inspire and enable people to live happier, healthier and more fulfilling lives. Rugby League Cares also provides wellbeing and welfare support for players from junior through to elite level in the men's, women's and wheelchair tournaments.
I think it's a real challenge for young players coming into the sport now as professionals. I think the pressure and the intrusion from so many different outlets now makes it really tough for them. Through Rugby League Cares and the welfare programmes, they help give players a better balance and understanding of some of the pitfalls that can happen when you're a professional player.
We want the player to be flourishing. We want the players' partners and families to be flourishing both on and off the field. We work around a positive psychology and a whole person wellbeing model to focus on the relationships, on the psychological aspect, the physical aspect, the family and support network, financial, training, education. So it is a holistic view of everything concerned with wellbeing.
I stupidly thought that I was invincible and I would play rugby forever, and it took me to really experience quite some bad experience to realise that we're not invincible and rugby isn't forever, and you have to plan for what you're going to do after.
If you can imagine rugby league players that they spend all day long in a team, in a very close team environment, and when that's not there any longer, and that structure is not there, and that discipline is not there, and those friendships and that camaraderie is not there, there is an element of loss, and some people have likened it to grief. The transition programme's there just to help them understand that and explain that this is a normal feeling that you may encounter during that first 2 years of retirement, and hopefully our transition programme helps prepare them for that and gets them through it. It's been identified through research that professional sports people, when they come to retire, it can be quite a shock. You know, it can be an emotional shock, but it can also be a financial shock as well. So in order to prevent that, it's important that we help players prepare for life after rugby. So we'll help them develop a career action plan. We'll fund their education and training so that, you know, if they want to be a carpenter, for example, we've got partners who'll do the training with them, get a qualification, and then we can help them find an occupation and some work experience before that, so that when they do leave, you know, they're well prepared, they're equipped, and they're ready to start that new career.
We're a real family, well-being driven sport, and it's really important that, you know, not only we look after ourselves, but we look after everybody around the communities as well.
The player welfare provision within Rugby League is really important. You take lads and girls now out of school at 16, put them in professional programmes and expect them just to know how to behave and expect them to understand what it takes to be a professional player. Then you add life pressures, then you add social media pressures. Rugby League Cares and the welfare programmes help people get through those and understand whilst they transition into the next part of being a professional.
Rugby League Cares works closely with the Rugby League Benevolent Fund and fundraises to provide finances for medical and wellbeing treatment for players who have suffered life-changing injuries on the field of play.
If you're a rugby league player who gets seriously injured, the Benevolent Fund is there to step in and assist you in the most difficult of times.
The Benevolent Fund have been amazing for me from the day that I lost Danny. Steve walked in and literally was my guardian angel. They sorted the funeral, they made sure that the children were okay, they made sure that I was okay. The organisation of the trust fund for the twins was organised by him and by the Benevolent Fund, and I would never have known to do that, I would never have thought to do that, and now the twins have something for their future life from their dad and from the Rugby League family. They're an amazing organisation, and they really are angels in disguise.
Rugby League Cares designs and delivers health and wellbeing projects that help people in rugby league communities learn skills and overcome barriers to achieving physical and mental fitness. These include Offload, And Movember's Ahead of the Game programme, Offload, is a groundbreaking mental fitness programme leading the way in using the power of sport to tackle issues such as depression and anxiety. Offload challenges taboos and breaks down barriers to accessing mental health support by using former professional players as role models to deliver mental health fitness sessions in rugby league heartlands, many of which have some of the highest male suicide rates in the UK. So far, thousands of men and women have taken part in Offload sessions, and the programme has been hailed as best practice. A recent study found that after taking part in Offload, every single participant felt they were better equipped to look after their mental fitness. 97% had better positive coping strategies, and 94% were more likely to discuss mental fitness with family or friends. It's exactly these kinds of things that make a difference to the health and well-being of our communities.
How many people are in the fight or flight response when they necessarily don't need it? When you're out with your family, are you thinking about work? Are you thinking about different situations and creating stress, added stress into your pressure, unnecessary stress, so to speak? There's nothing wrong with having expectations on yourself and creating internal pressures, because that helps us to strive and it helps us to get better, and we need that stress to make sure that we can participate in the tasks that we need. But what we're talking about here in terms of stress is when it becomes too much.
Rugby League Cares is proud to deliver the Movember Ahead of the Game programme to help young people in our communities become the best they can be on and off the field. Led by former Leeds Rhinos, Great Britain and England star Keith Senior, Rugby League Cares will deliver Ahead of the Game to 8,000 teenagers who play sport. The programme will equip these boys and girls with the skills they need to manage their own mental fitness throughout their lives. It will also teach them to recognise when a friend might need help.
We're just trying to normalise the conversations of mental health, because we're finding out that a lot of kids don't actually realise what mental health is and the differentiation between mental health and mental ill health. So opening up them conversations, but also because it's a team environment, they're all teammates, they're all friends, they're all colleagues, they want to look out for each other like they do on the rugby pitch. So why not make that in the change room as well, and also when they're at school? We're talking about anxiety, we're talking about depression and the signs and the symptoms. So recognising them in yourself, but also recognising the signs and symptoms in a friend. If there's a change in personality, potentially that could lead to mental health illness. Mental health illnesses, mental health problems, mental health issues start at a very young age. So if we can recognise them in these children at a very young age, then the potential of them not then progressing into a mental illness will hopefully be deterred.
So how can you help? To continue making a difference in its communities, Rugby League Cares is reliant on grant support and public donations.
It's so important because it does what it says on the tin. It cares about past, present and future players of our great game. Because Rugby League cares.
Because Rugby League cares.
Because Rugby League cares.
Because Rugby League cares.